The sky broke open above the Pyrenean hills, a furious storm clawing at the stone towers of Valoria Castle. Wind lashed like a whip, rain striking with such force it seemed the heavens themselves sought to bring the fortress to its knees. Within, Duke Alaric de Valoria stood rigid at the highest window, his pale face lit by the savage flash of lightning. He was known throughout Spain as the Virgin Duke, not for lack of offers nor for absence of charm, but because his heart was a sealed chamber, locked tight since the death of his betrothed years ago. Suitors came and went, noble ladies paraded before him like jeweled treasures, yet his vow of untouched solitude remained unbroken. His silence, his restraint, had become legend. But that night, fate stormed his gates. Through the sheets of rain, the guards dragged in a drenched figure from the valley road, a young woman shivering violently, her cloak clinging to her form, her eyes wide with fear and defiance. "My lord," the captain announced, bowing low, "we found her wandering near the riverbank. She claims she sought refuge, nothing more." Alaric descended the grand staircase, cane tapping against marble, every step measured. His gaze fell upon her, raven hair soaked, cheeks flushed with cold, lips trembling but unbowed. She curtsied awkwardly, as if unused to the gesture, and raised her chin. "Forgive me, your grace," she whispered, her voice raw with fatigue. "I lost my way in the storm. If you turn me out, I will not see the dawn." Something in her tone pierced the duke's armor of indifference. She was no court lady, her gown, though once fine, was torn at the hem. A runaway. A fugitive, perhaps. Yet there was pride in her bearing, a light in her eyes that did not beg but challenged. "What is your name?" he demanded. "Selina." No surname. No title. Just a name, bare as her truth. Alaric's brow furrowed. "Very well. You will remain until the storm passes. But know this, Valoria is no sanctuary for secrets. If you bring danger into my hall, it will fall upon your shoulders alone." Selina bowed her head. "I understand, my lord." That night, the castle seemed transformed. The storm battered the walls, but within, a subtler tempest gathered. Servants whispered of the girl taken in by their aloof duke. They noted the way his eyes followed her, as though searching for answers she had not yet given. And Selina, in her borrowed gown by the hearth, felt the weight of his gaze. She told herself she feared it. But in truth, something else stirred within her, something dangerous. For Selina bore a secret as heavy as the storm outside. She was no common traveler. She was the illegitimate daughter of a Castilian marquis, betrothed against her will to a man twice her age. She had fled on the eve of her binding vows, the chains of duty still clinking at her heels. Now, within the Virgin Duke's stormbound refuge, her forbidden tale began to entwine with his. Days stretched beneath the storm's fury. Roads washed away, the valley drowned, leaving Valoria Castle an island adrift in a sea of mud and rain. Selina remained within its walls, and with every passing hour, the thread between her and Alaric grew tauter, thinner, and more impossible to sever. He found her in the library at dawn, fingers tracing the spines of ancient tomes. "You can read Latin," he remarked, surprised. She turned, startled but unashamed. "My father insisted. He thought it might make me more presentable." "Your father," Alaric said slowly, "is no peasant then." Selina's lips tightened. She lowered her gaze. "I have no father worth naming." Their silence burned hotter than the fire. Later, in the great hall, she played the lute left forgotten by court musicians. Her voice, low, haunting, filled the stone chamber with a sorrow that made even the duke's stoic heart tremble. "You sing as though you have lost everything," he murmured afterward. "Perhaps I have," she replied, her fingers still resting on the strings. "Or perhaps I have fled it before it could devour me." Alaric studied her, and for the first time in years, he felt the stirrings of something he had buried. Desire, yes, but more than that, the dangerous recognition of a soul as wounded as his own. That night, the storm howled like a chorus of furies, rattling shutters, shaking doors. Selina could not sleep. She wandered the corridors until she found herself before the Duke's private chapel, its door ajar, a flicker of candlelight within. There he knelt, rigid, before the cold altar. His lips moved in silent prayer. She watched him, transfixed, a man so bound by duty, yet so utterly alone. "Does God answer you, my lord?" she asked softly. Alaric started, turning sharply. His eyes flashed. "You should not be here. Nor should you suffer alone," she said. For a moment, the fury in his gaze wavered. Then, with a voice edged in steel, he confessed. "I am called the Virgin Duke because I have sworn myself to chastity. Not for virtue's sake, but because love has cost me once, and I will not bleed for it again. I buried her with my vows, and I will not betray her memory." Selina's breath caught. And yet, she whispered, stepping closer, your heart still beats.
Your blood still burns.
You are not buried, my lord, not yet. Lightning tore the sky. Their shadows danced upon the chapel walls. Alaric clenched his fists, torn between piety and hunger, memory and temptation. You do not know what you ask of me. I ask nothing, she said, her eyes glistening. I only stand where the storm has placed me. If that is sin, then let heaven strike us both. He turned from her, trembling with the effort of restraint. But her words lingered, haunting him long after she had gone. The storm outside was nothing compared to the one rising within the Virgin Duke. On the 7th day, the skies began to clear. Sunlight broke timidly through ragged clouds, casting Valoria in a glow it had not known for weeks. Yet within the castle, shadows lengthened. A messenger arrived, muddy and breathless, bearing a royal seal. The Duke broke it open with shaking hands. The letter was brief, merciless. Selina de Ordóñez, daughter of Marquis Rodrigo, is wanted. She has fled her betrothal to Count Esteban de Torrelavega. Any who harbor her will be punished as traitors to the crown. Alaric's heart sank. The truth crashed upon him, her secret, her silence, her defiance. He summoned her to the hall. Selina entered, her face pale, her step steady. She knew. She had always known this moment would come. Why did you not tell me? Alaric demanded, his voice breaking against the vaulted ceiling. Because you would have cast me out, she whispered. And I could not bear it. You made me a traitor. His cane struck the floor like thunder. Do you understand what you have done? If I protect you, I defy the crown. If I surrender you, I betray my own heart. Tears shimmered in her eyes. Then choose, my lord. But know that whichever path you take, you will not walk it unscarred. The silence that followed was unbearable. He wanted to curse her, to condemn her, and yet when he looked upon her trembling form, he could only remember the warmth of her song, the fire in her words, the storm that had brought her into his life. Leave this castle before nightfall, he said finally, his voice a ragged whisper. If you stay, I cannot protect you. Selina bowed her head, lips pressed to stifle a sob. She turned, gathering her cloak, and vanished into the corridors. But Alaric did not sleep that night. He stood by the battlements, watching the road vanish into mist, his heart clawing itself apart. When dawn came, he could bear it no longer. He mounted his horse, riding hard into the valley. He found her near the riverbank where she had first appeared, her cloak trailing in the mud, her eyes heavy with despair. Selina! He cried, dismounting, reaching for her. She shook her head. You should not have come. If they find you with me, they will ruin you. Then let them ruin me, he said fiercely. What is a title without truth? What is honor without you? She stared at him, disbelief trembling into hope. You would throw away your vow? I would throw away the world, he answered, his voice breaking. I was a ghost until you came. If this is damnation, then I embrace it. And there, with the river roaring, the storm clouds retreating, the Virgin Duke shattered his vow. He drew her into his arms, his lips meeting hers with the hunger of years denied, with the passion of a man reborn. The world would hunt them. The crown would brand them traitors. But in that embrace, they found a freedom greater than kingdoms, more eternal than vows. For the storm that had bound them was not meant to break them apart. It was meant to set them free.